Good morning, everybody. We've got Mr. Spunky. We've got the beautiful Mrs. ML.
Hello.
Today is an absolute mission. We've got about 12 hours worth of driving to do, so yeah, many miles to be covered. I've got the Brian James trailer behind with the S15 on board, and we're currently en route to Cage Laser. Cage Laser are going to do me a full competition cage, all TIG welded as well. They're going to be doing me bumper bars, a jacking bar, strut braces as well, quite a lot of custom fabrication. I'll kind of run through the car and all the bits they're going to do once we get down there. I'm really keen to do some competition drifting in the next couple of years, sort of pending when I can afford to do it, but at the moment the car is miles away from being a comp car. The first thing obviously is the cage is not a competition spec. After that I need to really look at doing things like the engine and the gearbox. Ultimately the engine is still completely standard apart from a thicker head gasket, and the Nismo 6-speed, although it's a really good gearbox, it can't really take like 500-600 horsepower, so we're going to need to look at a gearbox solution as well. But yeah, long and short of it, the car is a little bit off, but eventually with all these helpful people like Cage Laser and all my lovely sponsors, fingers crossed we can do some drifting. Made it, baby. Look at him, always smiling, man. That's Cage Laser for you. Mrs. GG is gonna start unloading the car. Look at that bot. You guys have been kind of asking me in the comment section, where's Mitto's car gone? Well, Mitto's car is at Cage Laser. Well,
how's it going, alright?
What are you doing to Mitto's car?
Full TIG welding cage, loads of additional braces. Nice. Yeah, just whatever he wants really.
Making it nice and stiff, yeah, so we can crash it safely. Yeah, exactly. Like the boys said, Mitto's having a full roll cage done, all TIG welded as well, so it'll be beautifully finished. What do you think of the fitment, Will?
It's a bit ugly.
Fitment! We're now just going to quickly unload the S15 and get it in the workshop. One thing that is an absolute nightmare with this car is because we've got so much savage fitment, it does make getting the straps on pretty difficult. I thought I dug it in 2019. One S15 safely landed in Cage Laser. What do you think of the beast?
Man, it's beautiful.
Just run us through what we're going to kind of start over the next few weeks, just so the subscribers know what's going down.
So we're going to put in a full FIA spec cage, so it future-proofs it for you and the car as well. Full TIG welded, PTG 700, so T45 material strength.
Through dash?
Yeah, through dash, so we'll send it up here.
Yeah.
Work with the dash and door cards, roof lining.
What's your opinion on these Cusco escape dashes?
Personally, we don't like them, just because if you have an impact, it's going to collapse here on that bend and into your leg. Yeah. And then on the front, we're also going to do bumper bars. Yeah. So we want to really start pushing front and rear like jacking bars. So you know, we do one from IFC, which you'll get. Yeah. And then we're going to push S13, S14, S15, E46, E36.
All the sort of quintessential drift.
Yeah, generally, you know, that's what they're more used for, drifting rather than track. But
we are also in talks about doing a clamshell, but we need to. Will needs to sleep on it because it's a massive job.
Task,
it is, but there is sort of some ideas sort of pending about doing a clamshell while the car's here. But we're going to have a think about it over the next few days, and we will let you guys know in due course.
See you later, man.
Love you lots. Right, we are going to now head off to Dragon Performance. We'll be catching up with these lovelies in a few weeks. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Monkey's a lucky boy. Give us a kiss.
Oh my.
We have one party van, we've got one Mrs. GG, and we've got world famous Dragon Performance. Mr. Ross, welcome back to the channel.
You did.
Cool, man. Good morning, Mr. Tiny. Dexter, come here. He wants to get in my van again, man. What are you doing, young man? What are you doing? Dexter, stop eating everything. Come on, you. You're just jumping through the window. Excuse me. Dexter, come on. Right, I'm going to show you guys just how much work Ross has done on the car.
We've kept the existing intercooler. We've put a different radiator in there. It's quite a rad, dual pass. So it's going to be more efficient than the last one. And the hoses are both up this end rather than down by the floor, so you wouldn't knock them off.
This is where we can kind of see really how much sort of work you guys have done.
Yeah, that's the Koyo Rad. And then we had to mount it from the bottom, so we thought about a bracket system that also incorporated the dimple dies. So it's a way of supporting the rad, but it's also a way of giving it a bit of protection. And it's kind of looks kind of cool with the dimple dies in there.
Definitely. It's quite hard for you guys to see up here, but the ducting is pretty goddamn special. On the floor here, we've got basically everything you've removed from the car.
That was the bar that meant they couldn't be bothered to cut that out, or I don't know what went through their brain. So that made they have to have the rad at a really low level, so it's going to be catching stuff on the ground. Well, you broke one of the sensors off, didn't you?
Within 5 minutes of driving.
So we removed your crash bar. If we didn't remove that, we've gained all that kind of airflow just by removing this.
That's all the original ducting.
That's the original ducting, and now we've got like solid aluminium. So
massive difference. Hopefully you guys can kind of see just how amazing this ducting is. But yeah, the idea is the air comes into here and either goes into the radiator or up into the intercooler and not somewhere else.
That's right, yeah. We had to make like a little bracket to support your kind of bonnet catch there, because we've cut this off where it also supports, but that's enough to support it. So that's riveted to the intercooler, So I first did that on the drag car with a duct, and I just used self-tappers. Then we were thinking about this, and Adrian came up with the idea of putting riv nuts in there, so that allows us to have that strength. You can't really be mounting something tough, so that's got riv nuts set into there, and then the Allen keys.
That's proper lovely bit of work, that is. Really sort of clever engineering, that.
Then we had your Overflow Tap Bottle, and I looked around for like an aftermarket one, but we didn't have any ones, so we came up with the idea of mounting it.
Just down there.
Mounting it just down
on the back of the cooler?
Again, using the intercooler and the riv nut design.
The one thing we should probably point out to the audience is we haven't finished here. You kind of got the car just to a level so ECU Master can fit the ECU and kind of crack on with the wiring.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've done the V-mount to the total level, but ECU Masters are doing the ECU, so the fan wiring, they will set up, so the ECU will log the water temp, and it will set the relay. So we've left that, we've put the fan on there.
Yeah, cool.
So they've got to do that.
For now, we're just kind of running the original intake we had in the original filter. Once we decide what turbo we're going to run, obviously this will all be changed and all be neatened up.
Yeah, again, it'll be, instead of this kind of rubber NAS stuff, we'll have some kind of cool lobster kind of cut aluminium piece feeding that.
Proper intake.
With the RX7s, a lot of them have been modified. So now, like specific kits,
they won't be direct fit.
They won't necessarily be a direct fit, like a 35 GTR. You can have direct bolt-on parts because they're not really modified. So we do kind of a custom one to suit the car.
It looks fantastic from where I'm standing, man.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased that it's come out well. But there's the functionality of it. You know, when you're on track or drifting, you're just not you're not going to worry about water temps and intake temps.
And not having the fan on a bloody switch, because I think you made a good point last time. It's just something else to forget.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't know, that's not good.
That's a brief rundown on the RX7. We're going to head off in a little bit, get the car loaded up and head down to RRR Engineering, because we've got to be there before 5 o'clock. In the meantime, Ross has got a pretty sick R35 in the works. I'm just going to show you guys what he's been up to. Mad to think, that's a complete VR38 on the floor.
Yeah, that's right. This is track edition. So it came out with various different things. The uprated anti-roll bars, they're actually lighter. You get the Bilstein suspension all round.
And this is all completely from factory?
This is all from factory, yeah. I think these are a bit more, they're about 92 gram, but they're kind of the pinnacle of the GTR or thereabouts.
All singing and dancing version.
Yeah, and they come with some cool, they almost look aftermarket. I mean, these are Rays, but 4 Nismo wheels that come with it, and they're dark. It's kind of it's like a modified from the factory. On this car, we're fitting different turbos. This comes down, the whole engine's on the subframes. Stuff isn't really designed to come apart and put back together great loads, especially like electrical connectors. BMW have something where they're only meant to be taken off 3 times. So to me, it's touch as little as possible. So we just want to take as little bit apart as we can. People might not know, so the engine's there, and this piece here, this isn't a gearbox. This is just the bell housing, and that sends drive to the rear. So it's slightly different to the conventional engine.
And how big are the gearboxes in these? They're pretty chunky?
They're pretty chunky and they're pretty heavy. They're bulletproof until you start really going up to a certain horsepower, and then you can spend between kind of 5 and 30 grand upgrading the gearbox.
Just in the box?
Yeah, because the cars make so much horsepower. There's the rear anti-roll bar again.
Oh yeah.
But you can see what they did with this. They kind of did like essentially a flat floor, which was really cool, 9, and they were just
almost a bit like race car-y.
Exactly, yeah, they were using that kind of, again, it's just like in '89 when they released the R32 GTR, it was really ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And then they've done it came with this one. This is all stock, different core, different compressor housing. It's even got anti-surge on the inlet there.
Yeah, cool.
And this kit, all these turbos, we sent them to Turbodynamics and they've done it.
They don't look visually very big, these turbos,
No.
and they can push 1100 wheel horsepower.
1100 wheel
Two
horsepower.
of them, obviously. But
Yeah, that's right. And there was a car in Australia, and they were making more horsepower. And I think they're reaching the same boost about 800 RPM earlier.
massive difference.
So that's a real worth it. I mean, they're not a cheap set of turbos, but they really are worth it.
What's the customer looking to sort of achieve with this? Just like a nice sort of usable street car?
Pretty much exactly that. Yeah, he's a really nice guy called Ian. He's a dentist actually, and he just he wants just something that he can use and enjoy, and really loves the car.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people want massive horsepower, but when the car has got massive horsepower and it keeps braking a lot, you kind of lose the love for it. You just get annoyed with the car. But you got some cool little hand built by this guy here, it's quite nice.
So we got Izumi Shiwa. Sorry Izumi if I've said it wrong, but I'm trying.
Maybe look him up on Facebook or something.
And just very quickly before we leave, you've put the E30 now into primer.
Yeah, it's in primer, all one colour, so it gives a bit of a better idea.
Yeah.
The only problem is it looks quite cool in that colour.
It did look nice and white.
Yeah.
Any idea on what colour you're going to go for?
I just want to go black.
Black.
But I mean, the cool thing with these are the arches, so the black won't really show that off.
No, you don't kind of see the lines quite as well.
No, we don't know. The only thing we've done a bit more on the cage in there, and it's a bit unusual because it's only going to be a single seater, so the cage is only to protect me.
Okay.
So we've got a sidebar there and stuff like that.
I got you.
So it don't need to conform to any specific rules on the cage. No.
That's a little rundown of what's going down in Dragon Performance. We actually better hit the road now because we've got about a 4-hour drive and we need to get there before 5 o'clock before they close because we need to do a bit of filming. So I'm going to chuck the trailer on the road and get the RX7 loaded. Yeah. You look quite tight in there.
We got to sort out this power steering.
It's horrendous, isn't it, man?
It's really bad. Yeah.
Goodbye, you. Goodbye. Legend, man. RX7 is locked and loaded. Right, we're here. Can you find RRR Engineering on that board? I can. P3. Right, we made it. After we've done about 10 hours of driving so far today, so I'm pretty tired. But yeah, we've still got another 3 hours to get home.
Oh, great.
I'm gonna have a sleep here first though. Mr. Greg, you are the owner of RRR Engineering and the UK distributor for ECU Master. Lovely to meet you. We've got Mr. Roberto.
How we doing?
And over here we've got a wonderful RX7, which hopefully you guys are going to like. Got my kind associate. The boys were just showing me around this pretty cool Exige, supercharged, running about 400 horsepower with a sequential box as well. Pretty sick car these. That's only 800 kilos and 400 brakes, so pretty impressive. They also just had a really cool BMW E30 drop down here. It's got a LS7, pretty monstrous engine, roughly about 500 horsepower. Fuel cell in the back as well. Comprehensive roll cage. Beautiful looking Sierra Cosworth. Ah, Dave's gonna cream his pants when he watches this. Oh, look at that little red Glanzer. Love this, man. Are they Rega Masters or Ragga Master wheels? Can't remember the name of them, but that is a cool looking Glanzer, that. Fiesta RS 1800. God, I haven't seen one of these for a long time, and in pretty good nick considering the age. E36 drift car or race car, some sort of BMW. Polycarbonate windows. RX7 looking absolutely beautiful. RX7 key. Sexual, baby. No cooling fan, do not run for a long time. Talk to me about your Celica, Greg.
Oh,
You told me it was a shitter 5 minutes ago.
Oh, it's not that, man. It's a long story behind the car, because ages ago, like 20 odd years ago, I had the same model and I lost it due to flood, to be honest. Got flooded and I had to scrap it. So I always wanted back this car. It's not the most powerful car and stuff like this, but it's nicely balanced. You can go nicely sideways or something. It's because it's so natural.
Yeah.
And I just sort of love it.
This was originally an American car?
Californian car.
Californian car, the left-hand drive.
Yeah.
Never made in right-hand drive these?
They do, but mainly in Australia and Japan.
Okay.
I knew I'm gonna have it back at some point. I knew this is my goal, to have it back, and I love this car. And just slowly waiting, buying bits all over the world, to be honest.
Probably very hard to get parts, no doubt.
It's crazy. This is
Cool, man. Pimp. This is lovely, man. And what was the mileage you say? 61,000 miles. Nothing,
And the
is it?
Supra's got the same,
It's all the same layout.
all the same layout, the same gauges, just the frames were chromed and it was covered with the leather. 5-speed.
Oh, that was probably optional extra back then.
Yeah.
And where did you find it? You bought it off someone in the UK?
Yeah. Someone just bringing in.
Okay.
And sort of,
Now, this E46 looks pretty sick. I can tell it's got a supercharger there.
Big one. So stock engine, just everything's been fully forged through. VF supercharger kit, which costs more than an arm and a leg. This one was an SMG one.
Manual swap?
But yeah, he's manual swapped it just because ECU Master can't control SMG. Put the manual in it, we can do it.
Yeah. What ECU is it running?
EMU Black, so it's
down there, yeah. Which is exactly what we're running on the RX7.
yeah, it'll be the same one on it.
Polycarbonate windows as well. Quick little look inside, and then that's just a regular manual E46.
Yeah,
Get drag box. They're really good cars. These, what I sort of noticed at the track days, there's a lot of these E46s going around. And I'll tell you what, they all fly. Got an EMU black there, but you've also got some to show us on the side.
Yeah, well.
So that's EMU black, and that's the EMU classic.
You just get a few more inputs and everything on the black, and output wise, not too bad. The classic runs 4.2 Bosch Lambda, black you can run 4.2 or 4.9 Bosch Lambda. Black has inbuilt CAN bus and drive-by-wire. Classic doesn't. We do expansion modules if people want to put it on their classics.
Okay, cool. So this is the ADU, which is basically like your Digi Dash.
Yeah, digital dash, fully custom. So yeah, it's fully custom. I describe it as, if you want a picture of the Hulk to show up when you hit the red line, have a picture of the Hulk show up when you hit the red line. The lights on the side custom to what you want, shift lights custom, coming in, sweeping left, sweeping right. It is anti-glare, auto brightness. We run them a lot in the UK on things, but also like Sirius-wise, major VW group company are going to be putting them in all their TCR race cars. Buy direct from us, you get team viewer support included with your products, whether that's ECU, PMU, dash, we can provide support for that. We do custom dash designs if people want us to design dashes for them. Just need a few sketches of what they want where, and we can create that. And it's all from the comfort of your house, garage, wherever you've got Wi-Fi. As long as you've got a Wi-Fi connection, we can tracks all over. It'll be Saturday morning. We'll get a phone call from someone at a track. Can you give us a hand? So yeah, wherever, whenever, pretty much with the support.
So with the RX7, Roberto, I think we're probably going to put the ECU in the glove box.
Yeah, probably going to mount it somewhere in here.
Nice.
Have the loom come into it. Nice mating on there.
Cool.
Shouldn't be a problem.
And you guys are also doing me a custom loom, which you can obviously do for everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, some we've already got drawings for, S54s, already got drawings for, so you can order them off our web shop. If it's something we haven't done before, bring the car down, measure it up, make it fully custom. We did Matt Steele's.
Ah, cool, Mr.
Yeah,
Mitto.
Mr. Mitto. I mean,
GT86
yeah,
SR20?
Yeah, so, but his chassis loom was over 20 kilos in wire, control units for everything.
Proper heavy.
He put a power distribution module in the PMU and one of our wiring looms built by Al, and it weighed 5 kilos.
Crazy.
15 kilos
just in wiring.
in chassis side alone. It had engine in, probably not as much because not as many control parts, probably still a couple of kilos in that, so probably 20 kilos over a whole car just in wire.
What are the basic costs? If someone wants to come in and get this ECU fitted to their RX7 or similar car, what sort of costs are they looking at?
So for an EMU Black, it's £729 ex VAT. We always recommend putting a Lambda sensor in it, so they're £89 for a 4.9 ex VAT. And then from that, you can pretty much go away. Connectors included, terminals included.
This over here, this is all Al's department. Looks very complicated.
It is.
And that's actually a custom loom which you've done for a Lotus...
Exige 2ZZ, drive-by-wire one.
That's the entire engine loom?
That's the entire engine loom there. I mean, it's missing a few plugs at the moment.
Yeah, it weighs nothing.
700 grams.
Nothing. I see what you mean, that's a massive saving over all the stock loom.
Yeah, and then obviously we glue and joint everything, so it's all sealed. Rayk M55 wire, which is lightweight motorsport wire. DR25 heat shrink.
Cool, just to kind of protect it.
Yeah, protection. On it, so do custom looms, custom adapters.
Yeah.
So this one here for Lotus Elise S3, so they're newer ones, and that straight plug on that end into the ECU, and you're away, got your Lambda plugs, and then any spares if you want to put extra sensors or anything in, all on that. And then obviously you can see they're all custom, and we've got a lot going on.
Yeah. So these are some of the ECU components.
Yeah. So we sort of talked about the Black, Classic, and ADU, but we've got keypads, so they're CAN bus. All of that is controlled through 4 pins in there. Custom inserts, whatever you want. 7 colours in them. They're controlled through CAN bus, so you can connect it to the PMU dash or ADU and control it.
That's cool.
Digital gear display for all you rally nuts.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Again, CAN bus based, so if you have ECU Master ECU, you can display it on that.
Actually, I need one of those because I just change gear when I'm hitting the revs. Everyone says I hit the revs too many times.
It's nice and big. You won't miss your gear in that. Our newest product is a little battery isolator. That's a so your little Cartec battery isolator knobs is that is what an ECU Master one looks like. Controlled all through.
Yeah, cool.
CAN bus there. So this is DT free. Sort of a bit of a cheap way into the world of tuning. Can wire it in how you want. Pinouts on the back, it's the easiest thing in the world. Just need your wiring diagram for your car. Cut in where you need, inbuilt map sensor, or you can get the NA version.
So that's effectively like a piggyback ECU?
Piggyback ECU.
Okay.
Around the sort of 150 XWatt mark for them, and yeah, you can either wire it in 1 or 2 ways. Spoofing the MAF signal, so stock ECU then puts some more fuel in, brings the ignition back, or you can wire it in to control your injectors. So what they call fuel implant mode. So that just does your injectors. And
so that's kind of like a sort of more primitive way of tuning, but sort of if you.
It's sort of like
for basics.
First step. I mean, if you're doing any big builds, go full standalone the whole way. But if you have just sort of tweaked your car, different injectors or something, you get a little bit of power out of these. So they're good little boxes. It's where the company first started.
Right, that just about completes today's video. Love you lots, Mr. Greg.
Cheers.
Mr. Roberto, Mr. Al. Cheers. George and I are going to be catching back up with ECU Master in about 2 weeks' time once they've started doing a few bits on the RX7. And now we are going to finish our final leg of the journey. We've been on the road for quite a few hours today and we've got about another 2.5 hours to go, but then we can finally get home. Georgie will probably go to sleep and I'm going to smash the simulator. So that is our day complete. It's now slightly dark. I was trying to film the end of the video, but the battery ran out. So here we are later in the evening. Before we go as well, I've got a brand new reward on my Patreon. We've actually got a ML Assetto Corsa server now. So you can actually come online and drift with me on the simulator. I'm gonna say goodbye from me. Bye from Miss GG. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. 6.